Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Doc, and today we have a very special build. I wanted to build Trixie Motel from Trixie Motel's motel in Palm Springs, California. And my whole goal with this was to make sure that I can emulate the feeling of Trixie Motel for Planet Zoo, because I honestly think many people just kind of look over and ignore the staff centers. You know, there's not many people who actually do good and beautiful staff centers. We kind of just, and I'm someone like that. I kind of just plop the staff buildings hidden away from the guests somewhere. But this time I was like, you know what? I'm starting a new zoo, and you guys didn't know this, but aside from the East Coast Zoo, I'm also going to be making a West Coast Zoo. And the West Coast Zoo will be set in Palm Springs, California. And I thought, you know what? Why not actually use one of my favorite architectural pieces of art, which is Trixie Motel, as inspiration to do my staff center. And inspiration is a very loose term I'm using here because, excuse me. I'm not exactly inspired. I'm more replicating Trixie Motel. I mean, if you guys watch, you know, the type of content I do, and if you've seen Trixie Motel series, where they renovate this very old decrepit motel in Palm Springs, California, into this beautiful, gorgeous pink Barbie dream house almost, you will know that, like, you know, this is today I'm really struggling with pollen and allergies and asthma. I'm so sorry if you hear like me fixing my breath. It's not comfortable, but you know what? I'm gonna get through the video. But yeah, that's the whole inspiration for the video, and more East Coast Zoo videos are coming. The only problem is with the East Coast Zoo is that I've lost some really important files. Namely, I've lost the files I need to make the video for the lion habitat, which is one of my favorite builds in the game. But don't fret, we also have a very gorgeous, huge section coming as a speed build, which is the African adventure section. And I also have cinematics for the lion house, so I'm just going to put the cinematics of the lion house into the, you know, cinematics of the African house. And, well, not African house, but the African section of the East Coast Zoo. But we'll get to that. So now here, I'm just trying to figure out how to do the pool tiles. Because as you guys know, in real life, pools have tiles, especially, human pools. And here, that's what I'm trying to, do. These North African pieces worked very well for what I was trying to, set as the vibe. And the pool lining took the longest, I have to be honest, because the walls, I just had to find exactly what pink Trixie Motel chose with their team when they were building the Trixie Motel in the show. I put the color code in, the pink, and the walls were easy to just do. Also, take this as inspiration to do pretty builds without having to spend, hours of learning of Planet Zoo. I see a lot of people who just started this game being like, oh my god, it's so difficult to build. Like, I don't know where to start. Everything I'd make looks like a box. I don't want to, just be stuck using the modular pieces. And am I using that right? Like the grid pieces, the gridlock pieces, like these big walls that I used in the on the main building itself. You can just make gorgeous builds without ever using any plaster or panel pieces in the game. It's completely possible. A lot of big creators love using the panel pieces. It gives us a lot more freedom. But again, I have 2,000, hours on this game. And so it's easier for me to use the panel pieces if I want to. But I don't always use them. And I think I want to break that, thought that to be a good creator, you have to be able to use all the panel pieces. Here, I already made the little seating thing. So I made the lounge chair for the pool. And I replicated the exact same thing, even with the towels. And here I'm making the coffee table to put on the side. And this was so fun because it's just decoration, and I just really like it at the end. And we had almost the exact same canopy to use for the, this part of the zoo. And yeah, this different shades of pink. It's very pink, as you can see, but I do think it really fits this desert vibe. It really, makes the color pop, and it just looks so gorgeous. And at the end, I can't wait for you to see the actual pictures I took, because the pictures are even better than the cinematics. again, I'm here just making one more thing. Now, at the Trixie Motel, there is one thing that they did where they built this tile foundation seating area, and it's a circular seating area, and at the middle of the circle is 2 huge palm trees, and I found that to be gorgeous. I tried to recreate it, and I think it turned out really well. The corners are a bit too sharp, but that's fine. Here, I'm just trying to, after I got the base, I tried to figure out how to make the circle, because that's always a difficulty. You have to have a square in the middle if you have pieces like mine. Otherwise, just use, the center something in the middle before you start. But yeah, it turned out really well. Like, I really liked the way it turned out at the end. And then the palm trees I got from the workshop. You'll also see me get some flamingos later. That's also from the workshop. If anyone wants the links to those items, I will let you know. Already, I have to say thanks to the creators of both the palm trees, like the huge palm trees that we have here, which really, bring out that Palm Springs vibe. And yeah, I'm just really happy with this build. I like the way it turned out. I love explaining what I did here. I wanted to actually go ahead and make like the suites different. This is what I was talking about, by the way, the little circular seating area. The roofing was also not too difficult to figure out, except I miscalculated how high they have to be, so we had this little weird, wall clip through. But we fixed that later on, and it's fine. As you can see, the interior, what do you call it? Not interior, but you call this, I guess, the courtyard is basically done. And yeah, I just, I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this. This is a fully functional and fully equipped staff center. You can definitely place some invisible roads around the pool, connect all the staff centers together, and just have the main door of this lead out to your zoo. And then your staff can come here, do their thing, and then relax here if they, they have the revo pool. They take a dip if they want to, because they work in the desert. And I think that's also important. For anyone wondering how this game stays fun all the time, is you can make your own lore. It is such a creative game. You can just make your own reality in it. Like, when I make a zoo, there's always a lore behind it. The East Coast Zoo lore, Taylor Swift, I just really like her. So here you can see me, search for the flamingos. I found them. And we really desperately need some recolorable flamingo pieces. Like, the statue wasn't working. It's beautiful, but I can't color it. So, it didn't work for me. And here I'm just doing like the hedge pieces. And it just, I like the contrast of this and the desert. It just looks really good. I've never built in a desert zoo properly before. Like, I started a zoo in the Australian desert map, but I never continued it. And I never worked on, the South American, North American deserts. And the scenery is gorgeous. The lag, there's none. I mean, that is something that I can't usually say. I have a pre-built PC setup. That is why my videos take longer sometimes to make, because, yeah, I have so much lag even rendering videos that it's not fun to always build things that are too detailed or too big. But yeah, it turned out really well. Here, I just replaced the cypress trees as the hedges, and it also works fine. I think if I flip them horizontally, that would even be better. But yeah, it looks good. Like, I can't be too humble about this. I tried to replicate the same thing, and it turned out gorgeous. I love pink. I can't say anything, against it. But would I change some things? Yes. What would I do if I had a better PC? I would go into every single staff facility and you can edit the staff facilities using plaster pieces. If you're careful with it, you can actually like change the entire interiors of them. But yeah, I would do that if I had a better PC and more time. I would change the staff interiors completely and make like the suites that they made with, here we're just making like the lock. And this is the door lock of, to enter the, I guess, staff motel was the one thing I struggled with, because the game obviously has its own limitations as to how many things that we can do in it. And, I'm not someone who complains about the amount of pieces we have in the game. So I just had to be a bit more creative, and I used this Twilight door lock, like keyhole thing. and I used some pieces of the marquee, which come with the European pack, if I'm not wrong. They might also be base game, I'm not too sure. But they were fun to build with because then I could make this gorgeous gold, the gorgeous gold accented door that Trixie Motel also has in real life. And here I'm just making like the entrance section. And yeah, I don't know, guys. I think we need to do more builds like this because first of all, the Planet Zoo graphics are gorgeous. Even on a PC like mine, which is older, the graphics are so fun to play around with because making things just look so realistic, and it makes them it makes the game even more fun for me. And yeah, it's just make like this as my staff building for my Palm Springs Zoo. I am so excited. I'm excited to plop it right in the middle of the zoo if I can. I'll see how I exactly do it. I haven't started the zoo properly yet, but this is the map we're going to be working on. Here I figured out like the, really nice pool. We have a almost heart-shaped like pool. I was going to make the actual heart-shaped pool, but at the Trixie Motel in the show, they couldn't do it because of some, the structural limitations. So I also didn't want to do it for my own, mental health structural limitations, because if I tried to make a heart-shaped pool, I would have to do it with a lot of plaster pieces, or I would have to make sure that my, fence work, like the glass fence work for the pool was really, really good, and I just couldn't stand doing that. Here I'm just making the sign for it, like a real motel, and I'm using the heart shape we have as the O. I just think it looks very cute. This is a very cute, kitschy, build, and I hope that some of you actually use it in your zoos. If you ever use it in a zoo, please let me know. The workshop link is going to be in the comments. I mean, I have probably expressed that when I shared it around, but it's on the workshop. You can download it. You can use it in your franchise zoos. I think for that reason, it's also really great that you can just use this thing in the franchise zoos because, it's a rather simple build. There's not that many, pieces to worry about. I find a lot of the time when I have a franchise zoo and I want to have something that looks good and realistic, and the piece count is very, very high, it's not possible for me to sustainably, play a franchise mode game or even challenge mode. So, also because I don't have a really amazing PC, my entire goal as a, Planet Zoo creator is, yes, I want to give you guys things that you can, enjoy and love the aesthetics of, but I also want to make sure that if I'm uploading something to the workshop, that the piece count is kept to what is necessary and to make it look good, instead of having like 5,000 pieces for a build. And then when you go down to plop it and place it in your zoos, you struggle. With this build, I also didn't, put roads in before, because when you do that, then the pathing system really makes people struggle. But so I didn't put any place any roads. If you've noticed, you can do that yourself when you download it. I will also do it myself. So you can just put it in your zoo. Here we're just doing the lighting. This is what the lighting looked like for the Trixie Motel. So I'm just, again, trying to redo that. And I just like the way it looks. Guys, I don't know. There's not much to talk about when it comes to this build. It just happened when I really realized, you know what? I'm almost getting burnt out from doing something for East Coast Zoo every day. And that's one thing I will always suggest to new players and old players alike. If you struggle with burnouts, especially if you do content creation, which also takes a lot of time, like editing a video and posting it takes a long time. If you have struggles with that, make sure that you can have fun with the game. Build something random. Not everything has to be recorded. Not everything has to be perfect. Sometimes you can make tiny projects and really enjoy them, like I did here. I mean, this is not exactly a tiny project, but this took me 2 hours in total, whereas normally a single habitat for me takes the whole day. Like, I have to work on it the whole day to make sure everything is realistic, because when I make animal habitats, I also look at the recommendations of Association of Zoos and Aquariums in the US or EU. And that just takes a long time. When I see, there has to be an overhang for a tiger, there has to be this and that. And here you can see me uploading it to the workshop. And at the end, it is uploaded, and I put the link so no worries about that. And here we're just doing some finishing touches. And I hope you enjoy this build. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.